the fuck up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
You disgust me.
Who gives a shit?
Go on.
I made it the fuck up. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. It's glorious. And I run.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist.
Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. It's your T-shirted historian. How you doing? You're muted. It's okay. It happens. It's been a while. All right. So, it's been an interesting series of weeks. And, oh wow, we had somebody tune out immediately. I had 6 viewers and then one of them turned off immediately. It's like, the instant I started speaking, it was like, okay, I'm tuning out. Fuck it.
Like, oh shit, Ironcaster's gonna talk. No, get the fuck out of here.
Oh no, Ironcaster's not speaking. Gotta turn it off.
No,
I
the
don't know.
mistake is he is going to speak.
Oh, wait, we got that 6th person back. Hello, 6th person. Thank you for coming back. Savo says, waves from YouTube land. Hey, Savo, it's good to see you. I have not seen your artwork pop up on my feed lately, so I didn't know if you weren't working on anything or if X has just been not pushing your stuff to me. So it's kind of concerning. Because I definitely look forward to seeing a new comic every week, or picture. Wow. It's been interesting. So, like, Assassin's Creed dropped, huh?
Yeah, that's out. Wait, what is that out today? Or
Well, I mean, I guess the reviewers have already gotten their copies. Actually, everybody says it's out now. I mean, I don't know. I don't look because I'm not buying the damn thing unless somebody wants to buy it for me. But let me see. What? Assassin's Creed Shadows, $69.99.
you're not allowed to play it. You gotta play Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, it's a good thing my friend bought that. Oh, okay, no, it is officially coming March 20th. So that's in 2 days. And I guess everybody who like paid the big bucks got the early copy or whatever. And you're working on a different project that is sci-fi? Damn, I want to see it. Savo, there better be like really cute android girls and chicks in it, okay? That's all I'm going to say. That's my disclaimer. But yeah, and apparently Ubisoft is threatening to sue anybody who says anything negative about the game.
This is like the most baffling thing. Like I feel like I've kind of tuned out of the internet stuff going on, and then I just kind of come back and like, oh yeah, by the way, Ubisoft's gonna sue for bad reviews.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, what is the point of getting a review that is honest if you're going to get sued for leaving a bad one? I mean, isn't that just like, I mean, that is pretty much the definition of managed media.
Well, no, just a little more serious here. What we're actually seeing is basically they're doing this to sort of hold up the specter of to basically be the big stick they're gonna shake to basically tell you better not be harassing us. As also, there's also the PR aspect of it where they could turn around and say, well, the the game had so much bad PR and bad publicity to it. We had to hire basically lawyers to help protect our people because it's going to be harassed because all those toxic YouTubers.
Us toxic YouTubers who are just being honest and wanting to say it like it is. Oh, Archer recovered. No, I'm not recovered. I'm back at work, but no, it's still, the wound is still bleeding a little bit here and there. Doctor says it'll be about another 3 weeks before I can get off of my lifting restrictions. So you're
saying you're a regular on the court for basketball?
In 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, I sure am. But I wasn't much of a basketball player to begin with. But yeah, he said it looked good. He says it wasn't infected. So, he says it's healing nicely. He's not going to see me again for another 6 weeks. So by that time, hopefully it'll have, healed and scarred over and everything it needs to do. But it still gives me a little whinge of pain now and again. Mostly because I've had to go back to wearing pants, because I have to work. And, you can't go into work, free balling it in your basketball shorts.
Have you considered the Scottish approach?
What, a kilt?
Yes.
I don't know what the school regulation would say about that, but it's still kind of the same problem because you got to wear a belt to hold the damn thing up. And what happens is the belt pulls the stomach down, and it pulls the stitches a little bit.
What about suspenders?
Yeah, that would work if I had a pair.
I have like
might be an idea. It might be an idea for me. I don't know. I always felt like suspenders were just kind of like more of an old man thing, and I'm just not quite that old yet.
Honestly, all right. So where I work, there's another guy who does wear suspenders as well. He's a younger guy. He's probably within about 5 years of me. And
Archer.
Sure enough, the suspenders. I made a switch, tried it out. I'm like, that is actually pretty comfortable. Plus, it gives me something to do with my hands. Wow, huh. I'm just an old-timey Southern lawyer.
With that beard and everything like that, yeah, people probably do think you're like some kind of hillbilly or some shit. Clerical robe. I don't think the school would frown on that, but they might do that.
Just say Jedi is part of your religion.
There you go. Yes, on the plus side, I did wake up. Yes, I did. That was a good thing. And yes, I'm hoping my recovery does progress quickly. Immediate gravitas. I don't know. It might work. I might try suspenders. I imagine I could get those pretty cheap somewhere. And it might be nice anyway, because honestly, I'm losing a lot of weight, guys. I've lost 51 pounds. So yeah, that's pretty impressive. I mean, I'm to the point now where I do need a belt to hold up my pants, or maybe I'm going to need suspenders. But anyway, yeah, like I was saying, yeah, Assassin's Creed is officially dropping in 2 days. Everybody's gotten their review copies, and yeah, Ubisoft is threatening anybody who leaves a bad review, and all of the game shill sites are giving it 9s, 8s, and 7s.
But is it really any surprise?
No. I mean, it just tells you who are the paid media on this. I mean, a lot of people are saying, well, if if you just like, Assassin's Creed stuff, then it's there. And I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm, sneaking around and killing people. Sure. It's just that was never our issue to begin with. It was always the historical accuracy, the thing that Assassin's Creed games was known for was their historical authenticity, historical accuracy, and instead what they've produced is crap. And not only that, but it's extremely disrespectful in every way, shape, and form. And it's getting them into some serious hot water with Japan, because Japan's ministry is going to get together to talk about it and see what they want to do about it. And that's going to be interesting.
Well, it's ultimately part of a bigger question of ultimately Japanese culture in their entertainment and the outside world. Because we've seen time and time again where all these foreign standards have been coming in to try to basically tell Japan how they're allowed to behave within their own country. And there's, of course, the other story we were looking at today, that you were linking today. But we've also seen what some of like the credit card companies have been doing in limiting what Japanese like manga websites are allowed to sell. The spicy dojin places.
Everybody is kind of starting to try to take charge of everybody else's money, and that's not cool. Sabo says, is there a reason to believe the new game will suck? Well, I mean, aside from the massive historical inaccuracies, I mean, I have enjoyed most of the previous Assassin's Creed games. Just because they were fun. I mean, Valhalla, it was fun. Origins was fun. Odyssey, I need to play a little bit more of. But, you know, it's
Odyssey
not
was
bad.
the last one that I had played. And for what they are, technically speaking, these are solid games. They run well. By the time I usually get to them anyway, they've been patched quite a few times. So very minimal bugs, if any.
Yeah, I can say that.
Visually, they are stunning. The issue is some of the other surrounding ancillary topics. I personally didn't like with Odyssey how the RPG mechanics were basically making the game, giving me artificial barriers to where I was allowed to roam.
Yeah. I mean, they said that the game will play itself for you, as far as making all the right choices and stuff, so you won't mess up. And I'm just kind of like, what? What kind of player agency does that give? I mean, it's video games. Let me just say this right off the bat. Video games, even if they're called RPGs, are not. They aren't. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know if that's going to piss people off or not, but they're not. Because unlike a true RPG, a tabletop RPG you have with a living dungeon master or a living GM, there comes a point in the game where your choices will be limited. Your agency will be taken away from you. You know? In some shape or way or form, especially when it comes to dealing with something crucial. I mean, yes, a video game may give you several alternative paths on how to handle a situation, along with what the outcomes will be and how it will affect your future gaming. But inevitably, it's all going to boil down to those options, and that's it. I mean, like, let's say if Ironcaster was the GM and he presents me with a situation where it's like, okay, you see a fortress full of samurai, you know, how would you like to proceed? You know, and I say, well, I'd like to pose as a beggar, a mendicant beggar, and you know, try to get access through, you know, the servants' quarters that way, and you know, maybe try something special, like, you know, set the castle on fire and use the distraction as cover to, you know. And
I'm
if
sorry,
that's not
we've only programmed the geisha route where you have to go undercover dressed as a woman.
Exactly. If that's not already pre-programmed into the game, then your agency has just been taken away from you because you are not allowed to make the choices you would like to make. And a TTRPG does offer that freedom. A video game, no matter how well it's designed, no matter how good, you know, the pathing and the situation and everything else is made, won't let you do that. At some point, it'll break itself down into, you know, you have to do this, or you have to do this, or you have to do this. Not sure you can have a role player without intelligent interaction between them. Yeah. So, in that sense, all a role player is, as far as a video game goes, is it's got stats and you can run around and do stuff, you know, in kind of a pseudo medieval fantasy or pseudo high tech fantasy or steampunk fantasy or whatever kind of world they want you to play in. I mean, even Cyberpunk 2077, my favorite, isn't really a true role player. I mean, yes, you can design your V any way you want to, but you have to play V. You can't play anybody else. You can't play, you can't play as Johnny Silverhand. And if you can, you'd always play as Johnny Silverhand. And Castor dropped out for something, but it's all right. We can move on without him. So yeah. Anyway, let's see. Sava says, I do get annoyed when a period piece takes liberties with history, but makes the pretense of being accurate. Although I doubt I'd rely on a video game to inform me about history. Well, see, here's the thing. Ubisoft at one time had a reputation for so much good historical information and authenticity that when they made all their plans and drawings and schematics for Notre Dame, the actual, Notre Dame caught on fire and part of that old building burned. So Ubisoft actually gave the French government, the plans and everything that they had drawn up so that they could figure out exactly how that section was built. Reproduced, wood for wood piece from the original. So that's the historical accuracy and authenticity the game used to have. But now it's like a fantasy Western version of Japan. It's like, you got fruits and stuff that are in the wrong season. You got harvests being harvested at the wrong time of the year. You've got trees that are growing in the wrong way. You have plants that are oversized. You have Torii shrine gates being used as village entrances. At one point you had the ability to enter a temple and desecrate it, one that was considered a great religious or holy site to the Japanese people, because it's just another environment to fight in to the creators of AC Shadows. Just imagine, if you will, you're playing a game and you end up having a fight in the Sistine Chapel and you desecrate everything. That would be kind of harsh, wouldn't it? I mean, maybe Christianity doesn't take itself quite as seriously as the Japanese take their revered sites, but you get the kind of general idea. I mean, you're not allowed to burn down Notre Dame in a video game or anything else like that, but if you did, that would be just brutal. So yeah, there is that. He's resetting his... Okay. Let's see. Even if a game is unable to be historically accurate, it can ignite, thank you, an interest or perhaps point one towards other sources, as long as it doesn't give totally incorrect information. Oh, yeah, Braveheart. That is the movie that historians simultaneously love and hate, because yes, it's historically inaccurate as hell, but it was such a fun movie that nobody gave a shit. Famously, I remember when the Gladiator movie came out, my professor who, was teaching me in college at the time was a very avid scholar of Roman history, to the point where, he's writing a book. I don't know if he's finished it or not, but I remember asking him about Gladiator, and he said, well, they got one thing right. Rome was in Italy. But anyway, as to whether or not it's actually crappy, you know what? I think we'll just let the public decide. This is actual footage and dialogue from the game. You decide what you think.
Resentment can grow quietly without much warning after a storm.
Wow. That's just the most riveting delivery of dialogue I've ever heard in my life.
Monotone.
Did they just like call in Sue from the back to read this line into the microphone? I don't know. It almost sounds kind of like, the Chinese delivery person. They brought her in for a moment to read the lines because they thought it would give it a more authentic Asian flair if she did it, right?
I'll be honest, I've been finding it so hard to get hyped for this game just because there's been so much sort of bad PR, bad publicity around this game that has taken away any excitement I've had, because at the end of the day, this is ultimately a game they should have made 15 years ago. They were more than capable of doing this back then.
I mean, this is my thing, man. I'm not going to say I'm a samurai, but I am a swordsman. I have been trained how to use a katana. I have been trained how to use a wakizashi. I have been trained how to use jute. I've been trained how to use naginata by actual grandmasters. And now I'm not saying I'm the best in the world. I'm not even saying I'm, good at it. But I have been trained by them. I've had training in it. I've had reverence for it. I love the Japanese people, culture, been over there. This is a game I should be super duper hyped up and excited for. This is a game that I should really want to play. And I don't. Because everything about it is wrong. Anyway.
Like I said, the thing is, they've run the franchise on so long that I think people who were born when the first game came out are now like going into high school, are now like graduating high school. This is a long-lasting franchise. It's had a movie. And I don't know if it's just a matter of they finally, I don't know, like I said,
it's pretty obvious. The people who are staffing Ubisoft now are definitely not the same ones who were there for Unity, for Assassin's Creed 2, for Assassin's Creed 4, for any of those other ones. Those people are long gone, and whoever is there now, I mean, they don't care, or they don't know, or what? I don't know, but it's bad. I mean, listen to how bad this is.
Mushrooms can too. Shiitake?
Mushrooms. The smell of dirt.
Are they trying to go for the rhyming scheme?
Do you think so? I don't think so.
Resentment can grow quietly without much warning after a storm. Mushrooms
No, it can't be.
can too. Shiitake?
Mushrooms. The smell of dirt.
I mean, that's just bad. Yeah, it almost does sound like a bad AI trying to emulate speaking without moving the lips. Yeah. Not only would I use subtitles, I'll bet you anything this game probably does not have a Japanese language, spoken language option. Because if it did, I would definitely turn that on. For one thing. It's supposed to be in Japan. It's like, Ghost of Tsushima. First thing I did when the game came up and gave me the option, I turned it into Japanese, Japanese spoken language for everything with subtitles. And that has just made all the difference in my experience in that game. What?
Where it had the black and white Kurosawa mode.
Oh, I don't want to go that far. I like my color.
Well, true, but it there's something to appreciate. I mean, if not for nothing else, the fact that they
Caster's kind of blinking out. I will say this. Japan, their culture, their way of life, all of the things that they revered back in those old periods are still kept to this day. And that's why they have such a good memory for how all that stuff was created, how all that stuff was supposed to look, how all that stuff is supposed to sound and everything else, because they never forgot all their history. They never changed it. They never tried to erase it. Well, they did kind of try to erase it during the Meiji Restoration, but enough traditions were still kept that, they remember how things are supposed to look. They remember how things are supposed to be colored. They remember how things are supposed to be done. So, how is Grimm's Ronin RPG coming? I'm not sure, to be honest. I think he was supposed to be kickstarting in March, which would be this month, but I think right now he's got other concerns on his mind. His health issues seem to be improving, so there is that. I expect him to be here on Saturday. I did ask him to come today because I have something cool to share with you guys. Let's see. What would the native language option be in the modern period accurate version of language? Like anything else, there is an older version of Japanese that is spoken and a newer version. So it'd be kind of like the difference between them speaking, Shakespearean English or Middle English versus modern English. But anyway, this cool thing that I have, some of you probably already know about this. So if you do, I apologize. But last week, the Fabula Ultima TTJRPG Atlas of Natural Fantasy dropped. And I just managed to pick up a copy today. And I thought I would share some of that with you. I don't have a physical copy yet. When I do, I will be more than pleased to actually show you guys what the physical copy looks like when I get it. But one thing that was cool about this that got me interested right away, and I kind of hate to jump right to it without seeing all the other cool stuff, but they have new classes. One of them is a floralist, but the gourmet, this is the class I was really interested in because, we've always been talking about how cool Delicious in Dungeon is. We've always been talking about how cool, campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skill is. And so now you actually can play one of these kind of characters who uses their knowledge of foodstuffs that it makes it almost supernatural when they do that. But the kind of things that you get as a gourmet, you can permanently increase your maximum inventory by 2. You can start projects that create unique foods and drinks. They're always consumable, and their area is based on the number and type of creatures you need to nourish. So,
Fabula Ultima is a game I really want to get to the table, and seeing this it gets me a little bit more excited. I've got a brother who's a cook, and immediately I want to show him this. I want to go up to him and say, like, look, check this out. Here's a class literally built for you.
Well, this one was built for me too, I think. But yeah, I guess the excitement of all that must have been something else. Let me see. What am I sharing it? Yeah, there we go. This is the actual gourmet sheet. So they actually have a new sheet that actually comes with the game when you download it. And you can carry ingredients up to 10 plus your SL and cooking multiplied by 5. So depending on which ingredients you have that are classed into the 5 flavors, bitter, salty, sour, sweet, umami, you can mix and match and combine them and keep track of it. Like if you do bitter and bitter, bitter and salty, bitter and sour, sour and umami. Because the thing is, what the effects are not always known. See, because what it says is you use an action to combine 2 or 3 ingredients to prepare a delicacy and choose one option, and you apply its effects to yourself or an ally you can see, or perform a free attack with a weapon you have equipped. The attack deals no damage, but you can apply the delicacy's effects to each enemy hit by the attack. So, like, if you could create like a debuffing food and use that to affect the enemy.
Huh.
Uh-huh. But yeah, here's some of the ingredients and stuff. They said, yeah, you receive ingredients through cooking and traveling. You receive them as rewards. You're never too sure what it will taste like, so you roll 1d6 to determine the ingredient's taste using the table below. And then you use the cooking skill. You combine 2 or 3 ingredients to generate the special delicacy. It says every different combination of 2 tastes, even if it's the same taste used twice, will add an effect to the delicacy. You combine 2 tastes you've never combined before. You determine the effect of it by rolling a d12 and consulting the next chart.
Okay, that's what I was hoping to see. Because so far, I'm curious. I'm like, okay, so are the players getting to choose what the effect's going to be for the combination, or is this something that they've already provided us if not list of suggestions for?
Well, yes and no. I haven't had a lot of time to read this, so you have to pardon me if I'm kind of learning about it as you do. But yeah, just look at the effects here. This is the D12 chart. Like this delicacy deals 20, choose one, air, bolt, earth, fire, ice, poison damage to each of its targets, and this amount increases to 30 if you are level 30 or higher. So this is an example of a dish that you can use the negative effects of to perform an attack against an enemy and give them like 20 points of, fire damage or something.
I couldn't. My mind immediately went to the thought of this. It happens to whoever eats it. So, guys, sorry, I'm just a bad cook. You poison your own allies.
That's the thing. You don't poison. You know what the effect is going to be, but you don't necessarily. You don't know what the effect is going to be, but you know enough to not to serve it to your own allies if it's going to cause damage. It's like, ooh, this this chili's maybe a little bit too spicy, and then you just kind of put it aside. Then bandits attack your camp, and so your attack is, flinging gobs of chili into the open mouths of bandits and watching them take fire damage.
Yes, but my players are idiots.
You mean they'd eat it anyway and just take the damage?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, well,
because, look, they're sitting around the table and they're going to ask themselves, what's the funniest thing? Like, no. Oh, you have this bad batch of food. One of the guys is something going to chime in and say, I don't care. I'm hungry. Give me this. I'll be the judge of how spicy this is.
Well, there's always that. It does seem to have kind of like an uneven number of benefit versus bane effects, because here it's like, here it's target recovers from a status effect, and here it suffers from a status effect. Here it recovers 40 points. Here it recovers 40 mind points. This one deals damage. This one deals 5 extra damage for every source. This one is you can't perform guard action, cannot perform spell, cannot perform skill. This one is gains resistance. This one treats someone's stat as if it's one size type higher, so you could literally buff out the biggest guy in your party. Or during the next turn, each of this delicacy's target, all damage they deal becomes one type, and its type cannot change.
I mean, we've got about 6 negative effects and 6 positive effects.
You think it's about even?
Yeah, because if we count like they cannot do a skill, they cannot do guard. That's 3 right there on 7, 8, 9, plus 2 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty even.
throwing a fruit salad at an enemy fills half their refrigerator inventory slots for the next 7 years. I mean, I guess if you wanted an expanded chart, I have a feeling this is going to be a popular class, and I have a feeling that they're going to end up expanding this, or if they don't do it themselves, the home brewers are going to get on this, and they're going to find new things to do with it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure there is a fan-made, like, food-related supplement that just frankly gives the players more options. You can go with the official one or the fan one.
Mm-hmm. It says delicacies and their effects follow a few unique rules. Each delicacy always features 1, 2, or 3 effects depending on which taste combinations you used. The effects may also be 4 or 6 if you use all-you-can-eat heroic skill. You decide in which order to apply these effects and may choose to forego any number of them. This choice must be exactly the same for all targets. So you could, let's say like you've got a, like your guy made a chili that, causes 20 points of fire damage, but it also recovers 40 hit points and gives you resistance to fire. You can feed that to your party and have it forego the negative effect, like, oh, here, drink some milk. Or something, It's
Yeah,
it kind of works. It's kind of crazy. It does say it can have only one type 5 effect, which is to say a damage dealing effect. If it has 2 or more due to taste combinations, you must choose one of them and forego the other. See, that could be useful too. Like if you end up making a stew that does, 20 points of air damage, 20 points of fire damage, 20 points of poison damage. Well, depending on what enemy you run up against, you could throw that at the enemy, and it's kind of like then you choose which of the 3 damage types you want to affect the enemy. So it actually becomes pretty powerful.
Yeah, because at that point you're dealing potentially 60 damage. And...
Well, no. You can't. You can only choose one effect. You can't do 60 damage.
Yes. Yeah, I'm saying that's why you cannot, because otherwise it would be 60 damage. You could just create a monster of an effect.
Right. But if it's a creature that's like really susceptible to fire or ice or poison or something like that, it becomes extremely useful. But the other thing is like, it says this class is atypical. There's no real way to perfectly control the role your character will cover because your abilities are procedurally generated over the course of the campaign. And it says you may prepare delicacies outside of conflict scenes. It will cost you ingredients, but you will be able to scout the effects ahead of time and avoid trial and error during a critical situation. So in other words, the way to play this class is if you're not making stuff ahead of time in order to get to know what's going to do what, then you're just basically mixing stuff together in the middle of battle, and then you're finding out, oh, it does this, and then figuring out if you're going to hit an enemy or you're going to hit a friend with it.
Sorry guys, I accidentally healed the big boss.
Well, that's why you can forego that. So there's no accidentally. You randomly cook stuff, not knowing what the effect is going to be, but then you can choose which effects you want to affect whoever you're using it on. So it still works. It's not like a totally random class that, could end up hurting your party on accident, because nobody wants that. And it's also worth noting, too, even though it's called gourmet, it's also a brewer, a chef, or a pâtissier. Now, I can easily imagine playing a brewer class who's like always, trying to make all these kind of potions and things, or not potions, but, liquors and beers and stuff like that. And it's like, handing the party a round of beers or something. Here, try this. And, it buffs all their magic and hit points and stuff. It's not that bad, is it?
No, I love the concept of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, it's a game I ultimately need to sit down and actually get to the table. Like, I keep buying the books for it. I love the art. I love the concepts of it. I just don't have the hands-on experience of playing a character with it. I
have the hands-on experience of playing a character with it. but it's been a while and I don't remember all the rules. I'm sure I could do it pretty quickly and pretty easily once I get my hands on it again. I found what helped me understand how the game works is building a character. So my advice for Fabula Ultima, get the basic book, sit down, build your first character, and that will give you a better grip on the rules than anything else. Because you can read that stuff until, you get a headache. But actually getting a hands-on taste of it will help you understand how stuff works. But let's see, what other... They did have several. There's this other one over here that was interesting too. And I'm going to pull this one up with... Jesus, this is a lot of stuff. Wow! So this is the Floralist, and... okay, so they have Vitiligo guy, because... Okay. I don't even...
Let's be... I mean, look. It's the RPG has a section for pronouns. I'm really not surprised to see it in here.
No, I'm not either. And the creator of it does seem to be very progressive, I guess is the good word for it, without trying to sound insulting. I mean,
if you go check out his Patreon, which where you can find some of the extra materials for free, he has the anti-fascist fists in his bio, so it's not exactly a secret.
Yeah.
That said, it's still a fantastic game, and everything I've seen about the game says I love it, and I love what I keep finding and seeing with this game, even though I haven't had a chance to play it. I like the aesthetics of it. It's speaking to me in just the right ways that makes me want to keep buying it.
Yeah. And, this is the quandary that we often run into. It's and it's on both sides. It's like, do you buy this game because it's good, even though it's supporting people that don't like you, or or maybe wouldn't agree with you, or would maybe cancel you? In this case, I really like the way the game is put together. I like what's being done with it. So I would say this is one of those cases where I just have to overlook my misgivings as to the author themselves and just enjoy the game for what it is, because it's really well made. I mean, it's you can read all the H.P. Lovecraft books you want to, but at the end of the day, you're still going to have somebody screaming in your face, he was a racist and a nationalist and all this other stuff. And, but does it make the author's work any less valid or worthwhile to read? No. He wrote good stuff. So
and
I take it the same way with this. This guy writes good stuff, so it's worth getting.
And I guess to kind of further elaborate on that just a smidge, as long as the guy as long as they're not out basically pushing the overt politics on social media, basically, which basically becomes an extension of the marketing for the product.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy enough to say, yeah, he's got progressive values, that he's got some values that I may not necessarily be in alignment with, but he makes a good enough product that that it doesn't bother me.
Right. And to that end, we got to bring up our friend Grimm, because several of my friends don't necessarily agree with Grimm and his politics and stuff, but Grimm writes good stuff. I mean, Whitechester was great. Ronin, I already have the preview for that. It's gonna be it is impressive, and I know because I helped write some of it, but not enough to really. I mean, Jim did pretty much all the legwork on that. Even if you don't agree with Jim's core values or whatever, he writes good stuff, and it's worth checking out, and it's worth buying, and it's worth reading.
And also for myself, with I don't want to say the Grimm question, but I watch his videos. But if I see he's got a video come out for a particular topic that I either I don't have a ton of interest in, or I already kind of know going in it's going to be it's going to be on a topic that I made that I
May
probably don't
aggravate
wanna,
you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there. And the thing is, I differentiate Grimm because I knew Grimm through you with this before I got to check out his books, and
Mhm.
it's I'd say I've become friends with him out past this, and I know him for who he is. He's we have there are some things we disagree on, but at the end of the day, I can look past that and we can have some laughs.
Right. And I think that's kind of all what it should really boil down to is it's kind of like, you're not buying it in support of the person so much as you're buying it because it's a good product. If you just happen to like the person also, that's awesome. But I mean, at the end of the day, even Gary Gygax had his faults.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then and then I'll buy Grimm's book and he can go spend it on what he wants. If he wants to go buy more candles and I don't know,
rings,
more effigies of like Margaret Thatcher to burn, that's on him.
I don't think anybody in England likes Margaret Thatcher anymore. But
all right, Nigel Farage then.
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah, often progressivism is used as a cover for poor quality. Apparently, that's not. No, it really isn't. I've been singing Fabula Ultima's praises long enough now that people know my stance on it. I've played it. I got to enjoy it for myself. It was a great game. It's one that I continue to pester Grimm to run as a full-length campaign and not just a series of one-offs. In fact, I'm so tired of him running one-offs. I don't want to play one-offs anymore. I want to actually get down and kind of settle in and play something long-term for a little bit. But I want it to be a fun game that's easy to remember the rules and easy to play. And I think Fabula Ultima did a really remarkably good job because we all got the hang of it real quickly when we were playing it, even though it was our first time. And with all the stuff that has been brought out for this game, you really have a wide variety of character types you can play. Plus, there's a lot of free ones that are available, like the Joker. Oh man, that's a fun class. You actually get to play with real playing cards.
See, I thought you were gonna go for the Street Fighter.
Well, there's the Street Fighter also, but I mean, come on now. I like fun types. Well, not only is it well, okay, here's the thing. I could still play the Street Fighter. I could still play the Gourmet. I could still play the Joker. Because you're not bound to play one class or another. You pick what you want. Now, some of the higher level skills in a class, you may have to, take a few levels in it to get it. But still, they don't limit you on what you want. You literally build the kind of character that you would like to. You're not hidebound. Just because you take, a couple of levels in Guardian doesn't mean, I'm a Guardian and that's all I am. What if you're a Guardian who is also a Florist? You take 2 levels in Guardian, 2 levels in Florist, and maybe 1 level in, I don't know, Kaiju, I think is one of the classes. Yeah, so, you, you can do it. Isn't Grimm too married to verisimilitude to run a game that has combat florists? No, I don't think so. I mean, okay, let's look at the Floralist and see how it works.
Yeah, let's do that. I was just going to suggest that.
Okay, let's see. Floralists increase their maximum hit. Wow, that's good already. Battle gardening. After you plant a Magiseed through the Chloromancy skill, you can perform a free attack with an equipped weapon or perform the spell action for free, casting a spell with a total mind point cost equal or lower than 5 plus SL times 5. You must still pay its MP cost. Treat the high roll of your accuracy check or magic check as being equal to 0 when determining damage dealt. Ew.
Okay, so it does kind of keep the damage in check by making you use the lower roll.
Chloromancy. Each time you acquire the skill, you discover a new type of Magiseed from the list found on the next pages. During a conflict, if there are no Magiseeds in your garden, you can use an action and spend 20 mind points to plant a Magiseed you have discovered. And you can apparently craft them, huh?
It makes me want to play Johnny Appleseed.
Well, kind of. Let's see what the Magiseeds actually look like. So, when you plant a Magiseed, it takes root in your garden until removed. Your garden is an abstract space whose appearance varies depending on your character's look. Could be a pot on their back, a gap along their blade, or even the ground under their feet. That's kind of cool.
I could see like a gardening sack where you just gotta have a bunch of loose
Soil.
a cup, some loose soil and like maybe some odd vines kind of hanging out of it. Like, oh, I've always got something I can kind of pull out of this.
That guy always smells like earth.
I like it between my toes.
Yep. You have a growth clock, which is present only during conflict scenes. It has 4 sections and begins empty at the end of your turn. If a Magiseed is present in your garden, fill 1 section. So in 4 turns of a scene, you can grow a new thing. Yeah, you remove the Magiseed, erase all sections. Sections may not be filled nor erased. So what are the actual effects? Here's the list. Okay, so Arctic Narcissus. Effect, you're resistant to earth and ice. You and your allies present are resistant to earth and ice damage.
Oh,
Golden Ginkgo.
So it sounds like it has effects that change every turn, potentially. Round 1, round 2, round 3.
Or depending on what you get. I don't. This is one that I would have to actually see in play, I think. But to me, what it sounds like, what it does is it gives you a lasting effect over time, depending on what you've planted. Like, I don't know, Regal Protea. So yeah, you're immune to shaken and weak. You treat your might and willpower as being 1 die size higher. Every ally you see, you treat your might and willpower as being 1 die size higher. Wow, that's a good one. Remedy Lily, Serrated Rose. And there's a lot of these pages, too. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with it. You're a battle gardener.
Yeah, it's a bit of it's a support class.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily anchor you into being a support class, because you can, like it said, you can always take several levels in Floralist, but also take like levels in something else that's more combat worthy. And they do give you suggestions like Street Cook, Gourmet 2 levels, Orator 2 levels, Wayfarer 1 level, Pickler, Entropist 1 level, Gourmet 2 levels, Merchant 2 levels. Let me find one with the Floralist in it. Young Herbalist, Elementalist 2 levels, Floralist 3 levels. See, that's not a bad idea. That gives you all kinds of magical stuff going on right there.
Then you kind of, flavor it like, oh, I planted fire flowers.
Yep. Shimmer, yeah. Mysterious Elf, Shimmerist at 1 level, Feral Speech, Lore Master 2 levels, Flash of Insight, Sharpshooter 2 levels, Barrage and Warning Shot.
Look at that racism. Why does the elf gotta be a bowman?
Well, because elves use bows. Here's a Lotus Duelist, Elementalist 2 levels with Spellblade, and Floralist 2 levels, Battle Gardening and Chloromancy, and Weapon Master 1 level. So, yeah, there you go, right there. There's a Floralist class that can whoop some ass. Keeper of the Sacred Tree. Flutist Monk. Elemental Acrobat. Yeah. That's what I like about this. They give you ideas in which way to go. They don't necessarily tell you how to do it. They just say, hey, here's an idea for your character. Why don't you try this? Plus, I think the way the game advances you're almost kind of encouraged to build a rotating roster of characters. If I'm not mistaken, but I wouldn't know for sure because we've only ever played the one-off game and never got to play another one. Thanks, Jim. You got me addicted, and now we won't run it again. I guess I'm going to have to learn how so I can figure out how to play it and run it for everybody else, because this looks like it's too much fun of a game not to. But
I cannot wait to pick this book up here to flip through.
Yeah, it's got camp activities in it now. Let me just go back to the front and see what.
Yeah, let's just look over the chapters.
Yeah.
The table.
So you
of
have
contents.
natural fantasy locations, which it has quite a few of them here, and you don't have to use these, but it gives you ideas. It gives you ideas of the tech and materials and stuff like that, and rare items and artifacts. So they do a lot of the legwork for you when they give you these atlases. And then there's the protagonist, natural fantasy heroes. This is kind of what they're all about. They have new options, custom weapons, new quirks, camp activities, which is a new thing. Then there's your actual new characters and some new skills. And then they have some villains. So I guess you really want to start on protagonists. Compassionate soul, steady heart, dynamic balance, friends and fantasy. Yeah, so here's one of their sample characters with the cute art.
That's the biggest thing that jumps out at everyone. There's a big importance on art that goes into these books that really helps sell it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's going to be the flashiest thing. It's going to be the first thing anyone looks at. They're going to look at that and say, "This is adorable." I can feel my teeth rotting in my head as I look at this from how sweet this looks.
Yeah, and it's not AI generated. It is absolutely not AI generated. A flower arranging Godzilla, yes, because there is a kaiju class, an actual kaiju class. It doesn't he's not always, kaiju form, but he works his way up to it. So yes, you could play a flower arranging Godzilla. Play the girl with her pockets full of dirt and a daisy crown the size of an Aztec. Yeah, that would be cute. Driving and Dragons. Oh, and by the way, guys, shout out to Driving and Dragons. He is kind of helping me to find a new car because I haven't got one yet. In fact, it's tentative right now as to whether or not we will have a show on Saturday, because I'm going to go car hunting on Saturday to try to find something. But I hope to have something chosen before the end of the week, and hopefully Saturday we can just get over there on the lot, get it picked out quickly, and get it home before it's time. He says, yeah, for me, it's not all about how much your ideas are and any present your views. I'm not a UK taxpayer, so Grimm will never get my money. Well, yeah, I mean, unless you buy his stuff, which you should, because it's good. Same with the basic expert. Okay, well, I mean, I know you and him have had a pickle before. Yeah, the art seems to exactly match how seriously the game is to be taken. Yeah, that kind of fits, actually. It's like, kind of light and airy, and, I think if I remember right, in the first book they say, like, death is not permadeath unless, that's what the player wants for the character. So, to me, the game is more about having fun.
And at the end of the day, isn't that what it's all about?
Should be.
Oh my God, we can be a furry.
Oh, well, you could always do that. So new options, custom weapons, natural fantasy quirks, camp activities, classic character. Yeah, we knew about the floralists, gourmets, invoker, merchant. A merchant class? Huh. I didn't see that one before. Custom weapon. You can create a custom weapon, and here's how you do it.
Maybe it's an expansion upon one of the merchant class in the core book.
I don't remember the merchant class in the core book. God, I'm tired. Wow.
Oh,
Transforming weapons. Yeah. I'm just tired. It's been a long couple of days. And I do notice that, since my surgery, I get tired pretty easily. Probably because my body's trying to heal itself. Yeah, so here's some of the new weapons, like stake drivers and auto scrappers. Clockwork keys.
Steampunk.
Yeah, very much so. Crescent scissors. Gunbrellas. That's very steampunk.
Penguin intensifies. Wang.
Uh-huh. Heavy arbalists that have to be have to be tripod mounted. Shovel pick, vanguard spade. Quirks, the ancient weapon. Oh. Arboreal, if you're a plant creature. Big bro. Cursed. These quirks are fun. Mysterious grimoire. Outcast fairy. Robot. Robot's been in all of them. Which is something I like because it's the fact that, they found a way to work it into everything. But yeah, I want to get the hard, not the hardback, but I want to get the physical copy of this book whenever it comes out, because like all the other books that I picked up from this company, I've enjoyed them. I just really want to play it. Not as a GM, but that's why I keep hoping. Tripod mounted arbalist, unless your name is detritus, in which case it's a hand weapon. Yeah, no kidding. The game seems to have a PG rating. I mean, in and of itself. I mean, they don't have any explicitly nude or lewd artwork in any of the books. But I mean, it's your game. Once you get it in your hands, you can kind of do it however you want to. If you want to make it a lusty, sex fantasy game, I guess if you find players who want to play that, you could totally run this game in that way. It's just kind of hard to think about that whenever you see, the cutesy character art.
Well,
hey, Tim.
Look. How we play up in Headspace here is between me and me.
There we go. That's always the best policy anyway. Find people who like what you do and want to play it with you is the main thing. If they want to play that way, if they're interested in playing that way, if they have no qualms about playing that way, awesome. Do it. Have fun. Some of our games that I've played at my other table, got up to some pretty raunchy stuff now and again, but usually, we're not sitting around here describing the stuff that happens. It just becomes a case of, oh, I like you. Let's go fuck. And then it's, we fade to black. It's not like, I imagine there are probably some groups that sit around and actually role play the sex scenes too. I just don't know of any. And I kind of think that would be better for a chat group or something, just because it would be like, why don't you guys go and private message each other what goes on in the, in the sex romp? Because the rest of us really don't want to do that, and we want to participate with our game.
Well, they go off the type with one hand.
I mean, I don't judge.
I'm not judging, but I'm judging.
Savo, for us Eurotrash to sexy bits isn't what I mean. It's the violence or lack. Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. Actually, I thought the Euros were like more into the sex thing than the violence, but no, the game has plenty of violence. I mean, it has all kinds of killing instruments and stuff. And I suppose if it depends on how descriptive the violence is. I mean, yeah, they don't actually show people, getting dismembered and stuff like that. It does not have an overly grimdark aesthetic to any of the books that have come out so far. How to put it, I guess. I mean, I hate to say it's all anime-esque when we all know that there are like levels of anime and how over the top they get. It's
JRPG inspired, not anime.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. It's JRPG inspired. So yeah, you're not going to see a lot of, over the top JRPG violence and stuff.
I mean, yeah, you could say there's a splattering of anime in the mix, because we are talking about Japanese games and a lot of the similar artists kind of jump between those two. But the point is we're going more towards those RPGs of the 90s.
Yeah.
And
more
it's a game where you don't even have where there's no rules for map and intricate movement. You're basically just you're lined up, you go, they go.
Yeah. It's more tactics ogre than it is I don't know, what's Baldur's Gate 3, I guess. I mean, that sounds about, because Baldur's Gate 3, come on now, they got,
The T-shirt, you gotta get it right. I've been informed by a very prominent YouTuber that is in fact Baldur's Gate.
Oh. If someone in my game shows a roleplay session.
By the way, that guy is still mad about Baldur's Gate.
Wow. Yeah, Chubby, that stuff's not for everybody. You judge every Monday. We would rate something based on its violent content more readily than erotic themes. The game seems to be toning down the violence relative to Western Conan-inspired bloodfests. Okay, on a scale of 1 to Conan, it's honestly seems like it's like a 4 or a 5, because as far as the violence goes, it's as explicit as you wish it to be. Also, I believe in the rules it does state that not every attack that you do has to be a killing attack. You can choose to, just stun people into unconsciousness if you wish. You don't have to kill them. So honestly, you can play it your way. Ultimately, all TTRPGs are like, well, again, this is the difference between computer RPGs and TTRPGs. Computer RPGs have a set way of dealing with stuff for the most part. This, you don't have to. You can play it the way you want to. You can do what you want to. You don't have to necessarily kill if you don't want to. Your character might not ever even fight necessarily. Supposing you pick a chef class and that's all you do is you just sit back there and provide healing and debuffing all the time. So you just literally force yourself to become a straight up support class. And that's all you do. You don't necessarily contribute to fights with your attacks. You just help your party out. That's okay too. Do it the way you want.
It's your game. You run it like how you want.
Yep. But anyway, I'm definitely stoked about it. I can't wait till they get a copy of it up for sale at Need Games. So I will be on the lookout for it, because as soon as it drops, I'm probably going to go ahead and do a review on it right quick and get it fired out there onto the YouTube. But all right, did you have anything pressing other than these?
Not really. I got a little bit of mail. Stuff came in. I got the OSR advanced player options.
Oh.
I think this was from Third Kingdom Games. Yeah, I recognize that. I recognize that format.
Huh. Nice. And I was speaking of which, what Kelsey has a new Kickstarter that's up. The Western Reaches Kickstarter for Shadow Dark.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I did get one.
You're right, Chubby.
I did get one other piece of mail, and this one I'll show really briefly. The problem is it's now like mid-March. The 2025 Hex a Day workbook.
Oh, how cool. So literally your whole thing is to create a hex every day.
Yes.
That sounds actually productive if you stick to it. Huh?
Well,
I have 3 copies.
The problem for me is I sort of found my own system I'm using. So at this point, I'm like, I think I just wasted $25 on that.
Uh-oh. Well, maybe you can find a use for it. Actually, you know what you could do with it? Hand it to your players and tell them, here, start filling it in as you travel.
Not a bad idea.
Not at all. And that book could be passed down to future gamers too, and just say like, yeah, this book has been, in the adventurers' journals for, years and years, and every group of adventurers goes out and takes it with them and adds to it.
What I might do is just start. That's not a bad idea. What I might just start doing is passing out to my players, and let each one make a single hex. Every time we get together, you can make one. Give me a couple unique things about just one 6-mile square plot of land. What's unique about it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, have fun with it. Yeah, nerdity. Separate those hexes into smaller hexes, and then smaller hexes into smaller hexes, and translate those into smaller hexes. Oh no, yeah. I don't think you have to do that though. I think each hex is individually laid out to where you can detail it as much as you want to. So,
well, actually, the biggest thing I've been using is Worldographer. That's been my go-to tool.
Ooh, I haven't tried that. I will have to sometime.
Give me 1 second. I will load up my map for you.
Oh, I don't have time, my friend.
Okay, I'll send you a picture.
Okay. I ended up getting 3 copies of Victor's Modern Necessities game. Now, how I ended up with 3 copies, I've forgotten. I think I ordered 2 originally, and I think he decided to reprint or something, and so I ended up with 3. So now I have a quandary. I don't need 3 copies. I only need 1. So I'm going to raffle off the other 2 to a couple of lucky people who, are good donators, and hopefully I can ship it to them without, breaking my bank.
I mean, there's a few ways you could go about it. It's something we could probably talk about off air, but yeah, I think that it helps. It helps get a friend's work out there, and well, you've got a couple of extra stuff. Yeah, you've got an extra copy that you frankly have more copies than you need.
Well, it's like I still have 50 copies of Chronicles of Iris I need to do something with. So, and there you go. Are you using the new Worldographer or the older one?
I'm using the new one. This has been my little world that my players have been running around for the last 6 months.
See, I still use Hexcrawl or Hex Generator,
and if I want, there we go. If I want to zoom out, I can pull this back, and you see just how big I can actually make this world.
Wow.
We'll go back over here.
My old simulationist wargame instincts are kicking in. I want to move my troops here.
It will take you. It will take you 7 days.
Yeah, exactly. In the meantime, you're watching all the enemies moving. Oh, and look.
Oh, I was going to say, Archer, you could use this for some sci-fi stuff too. The program does have a bunch of sci-fi things in it, including like space and moons. So the cosmic stuff does exist. I wanted to
play Axe
paint
2.
this, and there you go.
Yep. Actually, you know what would be kind of cool? Think about this for some craziness. Okay. You know me, I like to blend systems together when I find something good that I like. When I find a system I like, but I have a world that I also like, I like to blend them. So what about playing in the Axe world, but using the Fabula Ultima rules? It's not that dumb of an idea, is it? Because Axe has got everything figured out.
I think I'm just getting caught up on thinking about the part of how you have to. I'm getting caught up thinking about the Axe rules for progressing and scaling up, leveling up, and becoming the king.
Well, obviously you have to take a few liberties with that particular aspect of it, but as far as how much money is in a town and how much, of whatever resource you can buy and all that kind of stuff, all those hard fact figures are accounted for in Axe. So really, all you're doing is you're just doing a different system with this Axe setting. Yeah, and the Auran Empire would be an anime Auran Empire, which not a bad idea. I mean, I made Cities Without Numbers work with, Night City Cyberpunk. So, but that's just kind of what I like to do. Is I like to take settings, but I like to take rules that I'm comfortable with and happy with, and I like to play with their world. I just don't want to necessarily play with their rules.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But anyway, all right, my friends, I've got to go. I definitely need to go lay down. So you all have a really wonderful Tuesday night and the rest of your week, and we will see you on Saturday, most likely. I'm going to say now, I'm really going to try hard to make sure that we have a show Saturday. I don't want to miss 2 weeks in a row. But if things come up, I will definitely post something to X. But hopefully, if we do have a Saturday show, we're going to have Matt D'Amico on talking about his new Kickstarter, and he's got lots of new artwork for it. So I'm pretty excited to talk to him again because now he has rideable capybaras in it.
And what more could you want?
Exactly. Riding capybaras. Life is good. See you all.
Playable capybaras.
Okay. Playable capybaras. Capybara, capybara, capybara.